Welcome and good morning. My name is Don Beyer. I have the great privilege of representing the 8th District, the best congressional district in America, the second most educated and easily the most politically sophisticated. Until a few weeks ago, the alternative residence of the chairman of the DNC, Jaime Harrison. And I'd like to welcome Chairman Harrison here to this wonderful 8th District, and Governor McAuliffe and all of our great people. Build Back Better bus. I was going to do a speech just with all B's. Backbound, banner, beautiful, bedrock, believable, beneficial, bodacious, brave, bountiful, brilliant, badass. And I thought, this is actually not a morning for alliteration. Because the vote that I got to do back in March on the American Rescue Plan was the most important vote I've done in my entire life. I think most of the people with me agreed. Nothing else has done more to invest in the American people, in our present and our future, than the American Rescue Plan, the Joe Biden Build Back Better plan. And of the many different things that my wonderful friends will talk about today, from broadband to water to our schools, the thing that's most important to me is the fact that we lifted half of the American children in poverty out of poverty with that child tax credit, with that child tax cut. 90% of American families are getting $250 or $300 per child every month because of the Build Back Better Biden plan. You know, if you think about how much we value one child, when one child is sick or one child is lost, how it's a tragedy, just think of when that number is not 1, but 4 million or 7 million or 13 million. We just lifted 4 million children above the poverty line with the Build Back Better plan. This is the most monumental thing we've done to alleviate poverty in America since Social Security passed in the late 1930s. Which is why I am so glad that Chairman Harrison and our once and future Governor McAuliffe are taking this bus on the road to let the American people know all the wonderful things that this new president and Congress are doing together. So with that, let me first acknowledge our wonderful host, Bill Butcher, who founded Port City Brewer 10.5 years ago. He was the recipient of a $250,000 loan from Governor McAuliffe, which he promises to pay back someday, maybe. In the meantime, he was one of Alexandria's and Northern Virginia's most prominent and successful small business leaders. And now let me introduce a woman I first had a chance to vote for in January 2009, when Brian Moran went off to other political adventures, and has worked her way up from humble freshman to majority leader of the Virginia House of Delegates, the largest continuously meeting legislative body in the history of mankind. Let me give you Charnel Herring.
Thank you so much. And good morning, everybody. And it's good to see you here. Before I begin, I just wanted to acknowledge some of our elected officials. We have Senator Dave Marsden behind me. Vice Mayor Elizabeth Bennett Parker. Delegate Josh Cole. Mayor Justin Wilson. Senator Adam Eban. And former Delegate Rob Krapika. I am so happy that you all are here in the 46th House District, my district and my home. This district is very special to me because it is a place where I can see not only myself but other Alexandrians prosper. And I thank Mr. Butcher for the important role he has played in our community with the company that he has built, the jobs that he has created, and the impact that he has had on not only the economy of Alexandria, but the economy of Virginia. I am grateful for President Biden's partnership with all states to build back better with the American Rescue Plan. Just a few days ago in the Virginia General Assembly, we passed a bipartisan budget allocating $3.5 billion of the $4.3 billion that was sent to Virginia. We are building back better. It is clear that the pandemic laid bare many things that we needed to strengthen. For example, broadband. With the money that was sent to Virginia, we've been able we will be able to deploy and improve our infrastructure for broadband. We have the Rebuild Virginia plan, $250 million allocated to help our small businesses build back, and $250 million invested for our schools' infrastructure. And that is just a few of the things. There is no doubt that when Democrats lead, we all do better. I am so grateful for the leadership of President Biden, our Congress, and we're going to keep on moving and make Virginia stronger. Thank you so much. The biggest faux pas ever. I am honored to introduce someone who I recruited to run for the House of Delegates, and I'm so proud that she will be our next Lieutenant Governor, Hala Ayala.
Good morning. Come on, brothers and sisters. One more cup of coffee. Good morning. All right. Hello. Thank you all for coming out today. It's such an honor to be here with DNC Chairman Jaime Harrison and my very good friend whom I fangirl all the time, Governor McAuliffe. And I'm especially thrilled to be here today to talk about the amazing work that the Biden-Harris administration is doing to move Virginia forward. Thank you to President Biden and our Democratic partners in Congress. America is on track to build back better. The American Rescue Plan has given our Commonwealth the tools we need to invest in Virginia workers, schools, and small businesses. During our last week's legislative special session, I was proud to vote in favor of Governor Northam's budget, which allocated rescue plan dollars to support our small businesses, expand broadband access, and invest in our schools and our teachers. From uplifting families with the child tax credit to creating millions of good-paying jobs through the critical infrastructure investments, President Biden and Vice President Harris are showing us what true leadership looks like. It's just been over 6 months since the Biden-Harris administration took office, and already they've delivered a relief package that is projected to cut child poverty in half. And they are way on their way to delivering historic bipartisan infrastructure package that will bolster our economy and further by creating millions of good-paying jobs. And together, we are proving that Democrats get it done. That's right. Democrats delivered when we cut taxes for the middle class. We delivered when we invested infrastructure to bolster our economy. We delivered when we expanded access to affordable health care. And know this, and I repeat for those in the back of the room, know this, Democrats deliver. And this November, we'll deliver again. The McAuliffe-Ayala herring ticket will follow President Biden and Governor Northam's lead, and we'll never lose sight of the workers, families, and communities we're fighting for here in Virginia. Together, we'll continue expanding access to affordable health care, supporting our teachers and students, investing in broadband, and growing our economy. And just like President Biden, we're ready to hit the ground running day one. We're going to build on our progress and ensure that all Virginians have the resources they need to prosper. So thank you all for coming out today. We're going to get it done. We're going to deliver this November, and let's get to work. Next, I am so honored and proud to introduce my friend and colleague, the first Jewish woman speaker in the 402 years of this Commonwealth's history, to preside over our General Assembly. It's an honor to introduce to you Speaker Eileen Fillerkorn.
Good morning, everybody. This is mine. Oh, that's the same one. Thank you so much to our future Lieutenant Governor, Hala Ayala. I am so thrilled to be here today with you all to welcome DNC Chairman Jaime Harrison and the Build Back Better bus tour at its first stop, and in my opinion, the best stop in Northern Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. And you know what? This kickoff is happening at exactly the right moment. The Virginia House and Senate just ended a special session. And as you heard, we had the opportunity to allocate billions of dollars from President Biden's administration American Rescue Plan to Virginians who have been struggling since the pandemic. Thanks to President Biden and Vice President Harris, Virginia is building back better. These critical funds are going to help expand broadband to every corner of the Commonwealth, support small businesses as they get back on their feet as a result of this pandemic, improve our public school infrastructure, assist higher education students with financial aid, and also shore up public and mental health programs among that's worthy of clapping. Among so many other small but crucial important projects that will keep Virginia on the road to recovery. And the COVID-19 relief we invested will bolster an economy already making a comeback. Virginia was named CNBC's top state for business for a record-breaking second year in a row. And you know why? Because Democrats governed effectively through this pandemic, and they followed science. We were able to move forward, be efficient, govern effectively, follow science to make sure that Virginians were safe in the process. We have proven that democratic governance means responsible, committed, empathetic leadership, and we have shown Virginians why they should vote blue up and down the ballot in November. To that end, DNC's dedication to keeping Virginia blue has been such a big help. I want to thank them for their continued efforts as we look towards the election in November. In fact, Chairman Harrison and I just spoke probably 3-4 weeks ago, and he reiterated to me that the DNC is 100% committed to re-electing Virginia Democrats at all levels on the ballot. Jaime Harrison is an incredible public servant. He has always advocated for the needs of his community. And you know what? He brings his tenacity. He brings his spirit. He brings his leadership to the DNC, and we are so lucky to have him fighting and have him fighting for us on our side. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce Chairman Jaime Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for that great introduction. Folks, I love saying Madam Speaker. Isn't that amazing? Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Bill, for hosting us here today. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming out bright and early. I'm so excited to kick off our Build Back Better tour with all of you. My friends, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to crisscross the country, and we're going to talk directly to Americans about the results that Democrats deliver when we're in office. You have heard all of the ways that folks here, all these great leaders here in Virginia, have delivered for the Commonwealth. Later on, you're going to hear from Terry McAuliffe about how he plans to keep up the good work. Folks, there's so much to talk about, like how Democrats are making health care more affordable, or how the Biden administration has helped create a record number of jobs in 6 months and is about to secure a historic investment in our nation's infrastructure, or how we expanded child tax credit and gave millions of working families a monthly tax cut. Now, I want to pause on that one just for a few seconds, because that child tax credit is personal to me. And it's important to me that we do more than just list our accomplishments for the sake of listing them. We have to, as Democrats, explain what our work will mean to folks around the country. People need to know what they get when they vote for Democrats. So growing up, my family didn't have much. My mom dropped out of high school in order to have me. We lived with my grandparents who were barely getting by themselves. But everybody in my family, they worked hard, and they worked hard to give me the best possible life that I could get. My mom ended up working in a factory. My grandfather laid asphalt in a hot South Carolina sun. My grandmother picked cotton and was a domestic worker. I remember sometimes putting water instead of milk on my cereal. I remember the times I had to do my homework by candlelight because we couldn't pay the electric bill. And as long as I live, I'll never forget the feeling in the pit of my stomach when I would open up the fridge and it would be empty. You know, these monthly checks would have been life-changing for my family. And they're going to mean a hell of a lot of good for a lot of working families in this country. And that happened. It only happened. It only happened because you all went and voted in November, and you elected Democrats in the White House. And in January, we elected Democrats in the United States Senate. And we were able to go to Washington, D.C. to deliver for the American people. And my friends, I like to remind my Republican friends about this. When they go off and they talk to all these families about getting ready for school and the child tax credit, not one of them, not one in the House, not one in the Senate, voted for that legislation. So Democrats, it was Democrats who delivered for the American people. And that's the type of an impact that we have to have and that we have to continue to have. And that's why these personal stories are so important, my friends. We have to build back better. And folks, it shouldn't be a surprise that Democrats have delivered this big in such a short period of time. It is who we are as a party. It should also come as no surprise that Republican lawmakers haven't done much but stand in the way. Just look at the past 60 years. In times of need, Republicans obstruct, they play politics, they do everything that they can to block progress, to divide the nation, but Democrats, we deliver. In 1965, when my grandparents in South Carolina and millions of people across the country were going through hell just to cast a vote, Democrats stepped up and answered the call to folks like John Lewis, and we delivered the Voting Rights Act. Today, while we're trying to reaffirm that commitment to voting rights, our most sacred right as Americans, Republicans are doing everything that they can to make it harder to vote. When elderly folks and poor people had to choose between going broke and not going to the doctor, Democrats delivered Medicare and delivered Medicaid. Republicans would love to slash both so that they can give more handouts to their billionaire friends. When folks with pre-existing conditions were going bankrupt, we doubled down on our commitment to health care and we passed the Affordable Care Act. And Republicans have spent every day since trying to repeal it. That legacy continues today, my friends. When this country faced a once-in-a-century pandemic, Democrats delivered the historic American Rescue Plan. And we had Republicans who said, well, let's just give up the grandparents in order to save the economy. But what did Democrats do? We got shots in arms. We put checks in pockets. We helped bring small businesses roaring back to neighborhoods across the country. And all without one Republican vote. The difference in results, my friends, comes in leadership. And you don't have to take my word for it. Mitch McConnell himself said Republicans are 100% focused on opposing the Biden administration. And Democrats are 100% focused on you and your families and your communities. Don Beyer, Hala Ayala, Charnel Herring, and Eileen Fisher-Corner all focus on your everyday needs. So is Terry McAuliffe. And he has never been more fired up. He knows what it takes to deliver for the people of Virginia. And folks, he's done it before. As we hit the road, our message is simple. If you want leaders who show up every day, not just on election day, then the Democratic Party is for you. If you're looking for leaders who step up in times of need, the Democratic Party is for you. If you're looking for leaders who deliver real results, the Democratic Party is for you. My friends, we got those sort of leaders on the ballot in Virginia in November. And since taking the majorities in Richmond, these Democrats have proven that they know what it means to lead. They know what it means to deliver. And the DNC has a plan to make sure that they keep delivering for the Commonwealth. So we are going to make our biggest investment in Virginia to date. Now, I know Terry, when he was DNC chair, he committed $5 million. And I told her I'm committing $5 million and $1. And that's at least until October, because you all know Terry McAuliffe. He's going to be calling me in October and saying, Jaime, I need a little more money. So I know we will far surpass his record. But I want you all to know that we are committed to your success. We are committed to these Democrats delivering for you. And we are committed to the leadership of a great governor, a great DNC chair, a great friend of the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia. My friend, the leader that we need at this point in time, the great former governor and soon to be the next governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing out there? Here we go, everybody. Are you ready? Thank you. Thank you. What an honor to be with all of you today. Thank you for showing up with this great leadership behind me, and the work that they have done here is just truly extraordinary. I want to thank my great friend, Jaime Harrison, our probably the greatest sitting DNC chair in American history. I thank you that, Mr. Chairman, for the great, but you know, he just made a huge commitment. I own that record going back 16 years ago when Tim Kaine was running for governor, and I'm glad, Mr. Chairman, you're here to beat my record. Thank you for that. So every Virginia, give the chair of the DNC a great round of applause for being here and doing what they do. And I want to thank my friend Don Beyer. I want to thank every Democratic member of the House and Senate, because we would not have a Build Back Better tour. We're not for Joe Biden, but also for the leadership that we have with the Democrats in our United States Congress. Thank you, Don, and to all of our other members who have done it. Folks, we got a big election coming up here in Virginia. I just ask you for a second to think back 8 years ago when I ran for governor 8 years ago. Our economy was in an economic crisis due to the Great Recession and sequestration. We had the most anti-women, anti-gay, anti-environment, pro-gun legislation in the United States of America. Businesses were not coming to the Commonwealth of Virginia because of our discriminatory behavior that had gone on. We got to work. I became the architect of what we call the new Virginia economy. And we created a record amount of new jobs, 200,000 new jobs in the first 4 years. Personal income went up 14%, 1,100 new projects, $20 billion of new capital. And we became, in 4 years, the most open and welcoming state in the United States of America. I stopped the Republicans from shutting our 16 women's clinics down. On and on we went. And it was a great battle. But it was about lifting everybody up. And I think my great friend Bill here, who actually, Don, it was not a loan. It was actually a grant of $250,000. Was it not? You don't have to pay it back, Bill. But I love Port City Brewery. You know, I just went through all these economic achievements and records and all that. Probably my greatest record as governor. I opened 3 times as many craft breweries as any governor in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And, you know, I had to visit most of them to actually open it up. It is what it is, folks. But I do love the craft brewery business. Number one, the tourism dollars, the employment jobs created, and also they locally source all of their ag products. It's so important to all of our farmers here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So we're on, kicking off the Build Back Better tour, and we've heard a lot about what's going on. But let me bring that home to you for Virginia citizens. Because of Joe Biden and Build Back Better, businesses are still in business that would not be in business but for the Build Back Better. 7 million of the 8.5 million Virginians benefited from the American Rescue Plan. Think of that. $7 billion of economic activity was brought here to the Commonwealth of Virginia for our PPP loans. I don't know, Bill, did you get a loan? Bill got a loan. As I've traveled all over the Commonwealth, I ask everybody, did you get a loan? Yes or no? Every small business puts their hand up. I then ask the second question. If you did not have a PPP loan, would you be in business today? 95% said no, we would be gone. So Joe Biden and the Democrats are the ones who have lifted up every small business here in Virginia and across this country. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. President. 1.5 million children families here because the tax credit are being benefited. $4.3 billion came to our state that the legislators and our great Governor Ralph Northam just allocated. $2.7 billion to our localities. $3 billion, $2.1 billion to our K-12 and about $946 million for our higher ed. $77 million that we were able to bring to Virginia to do vaccinations, to get people vaccinated. I could go on and on and on. I won't. But I'm telling you this, folks, none of this would have happened had Joe Biden not been elected President of the United States of America. It matters who is in elective office. We went through 4 years of insanity in this country with Donald Trump. I met with Trump as soon as he got elected. I was chairman of the National Governors Association. I begged the president, get infrastructure. Get those 20 million people today that do not have health care. Fix that, and you will be a great president. Did he do any of it? No. He talked and talked and talked about infrastructure, but it is Joe Biden who just got the largest investment of infrastructure in the history of the United States of America. $1.2 trillion, I can tell you, tens of billions of dollars are coming here to Virginia. You just saw that Amtrak train go by. Well, let me tell you something. We are going to have Amtrak passenger rail all over the Commonwealth of Virginia because of what Joe Biden's done. We are going to be able to bring all of this money to build up our rail infrastructure, to fix thousands of roads and bridges that need done, broadband for every single, and I promise you, Virginians, every single home, all 325,000 homes today that do not have broadband, I promise you, within 2 years, every home in Virginia will have access to broadband here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Because to me, it's equity. 14% of our students today do not have broadband. Well, how is that fair during COVID? You have to online learn, but you can't get online, so you can't learn. So what do? They go to a McDonald's, get on a Wi-Fi hotspot. That's not fair. We're going to end that here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we're going to end it because of the great leadership of Joe Biden. So I thank you all for being here, but you need to get out and vote. I am running against a private equity billionaire who has been endorsed by Donald Trump, not once, not twice, but 3 times. He announced the other day he wants to eliminate Virginia's personal income tax. Really? You're going to get rid of $35 billion of our general fund budget. He will defund our police. He will destroy our K-12 here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. I'm for raising that minimum wage to $15. Let's pay our workers what they're entitled to. I'm for paid sick days. I'm for paid family medical leave. Glenn Youngkin is against all of that. So we have a choice this election to lift every Virginia up, to take it to the next level. We cannot do it without you. I want to thank our great chair, Jaime Harrison, and the DNC for kicking off this tour, Build Back Better. Folks, we are going to build back better. This state with Joe Biden in the White House, I'm in governor with this great leadership. This state is going to take off like a booster rocket. Let's go, Virginia. Thank you.